Ms. Devereaux here, and I'm going to be walking you through some basics on using the Google Classroom because we will be submitting the vast majority of your assignments to the Google Classroom. So it will be helpful for you to understand exactly how this works and what you'll need to do in order to be successful. So if you are in your class, and right now I'm just in an English 10 class, this might not be the class you're in, just using this for my video, you will see that if we go to, let's say the notes, it's going to give me some directions, and then it says click here to be taken to the notes you will need to complete. Also notice right here it says once you've completed and submitted your notes to the Google Classroom, please type submitted in the provided box. Okay, so if you show the drop box, once you've submitted to Google Classroom, you're going to type submitted in here and hit submit. That adds it to my to-do list and removes it from your to-do list. So if you are wondering why you think, okay, I've turned this into the Google Classroom, but it's still on my to-do list in Connexus, it's because you haven't submitted it via Connexus. If I grade it, it will come off your to-do list, but as you know, sometimes we have lots of work that comes in, so it takes us a while to get your grading done. So if you want it off your to-do list and you have turned it into the Google Classroom, just type submitted into the Dropbox and turn that in, and it will remove the assignment from your to-do list. Okay, so I'm going to click here to be taken to the notes that I need to complete. So what you'll notice is that it's going to give me an assignment number here. It gives me a little blurb about what it is that I am expected to do. And then it also is going to show me if there is some sort of a doc linked for me. So then like it says here, files you add or create can be viewed and edited by your teacher. So once you turn this in, I am going to then own the document, and I can leave you comments and feedback. When I return it to you, then you can go in, and if we've discussed a retry, you cannot have a retry unless I've told you you can have a retry. So don't just think you can resubmit in the Google Classroom. It tells me that it's a resubmission and it posts your original score. So don't think you can just sneak an assignment in. You have to make sure that you actually get a retry approved before you just go and try to do it. So when you're taken to a lesson, if you click here on the assignment, it's going to open up a Google Doc, and you'll see it just puts your name right at the top of it and gives the lesson number. Don't mess with this, okay? And then you're going to obviously read your assignment, read the directions, and go through and complete your assignment. Some things that you'll notice in Google Docs, at least in my class, are when there's a line. So this is a fill in the blank. You just click on it, and when you type, the line extends, okay? On this one, you'll see that there are boxes. So this is an image, but if you open up this image and you click on one, then you can type here, okay? And you can define if you need to change the size of this text box or you want to change the size of the font, you can. Changing the size of text box is obviously just pulling it, like so. If you want to change the size of the font, you don't have to do that, but if you want to, it's under more, and then here's your font or your typing options. Once you have filled out all of the boxes that you need to fill out, you just say save and close, and then it pops your answers into the doc. You'll also notice that there's a lot of empty boxes. So when it says define protagonist, I want you to write your answer in the box. Don't write your answer above the box or below the box. Write your answers in the box, please. Make sure you read the whole question. Like this one here is kind of two parts, so it asks you who in your friend group would be a protagonist and who would be an antagonist, and then you need to explain why for each. So don't just tell me protagonist, antagonist. You also need to explain why you say that for each person. Again, so this one is a drag and drop, which is another, if you just double click on it, then you'll be able to pull these boxes where you want to. The way you pull it is you make sure that it's the cursor that has the 4 arrows on it, and then you can just move this box. If you do this, it's just going to change the size of the box. So let's say that I put that answer there and say save and close, okay? Then it's going to save it. So this is kind of just some basics on how you use a doc. And remember, I'm walking you through the Google Classroom. So once you've completed your entire worksheet, you just hit turn in if you're ready to turn it in. Once you turn it in, I get it, and that means it's ready to grade. If you don't hit turn in, it doesn't come to me and I won't grade it. So even if you've finished it and you close it, it's still not submitted to me for grading. You have to click turn in. So I'm going to say turn in, and it says, are you sure? You say, yep, I want to turn it in. And now that you've turned it in, you'll see right here that it says done. If you've turned it in, you go, oh no, I made a mistake. Or hold on a second, I've rethought about what I wrote and I want to change my answer. You can say unsubmit. And then you will have the rights to edit it again. Okay? And you can go back in there, make your changes. And once you're ready, you'll click turn in again. Okay, and we'll say turn in. So now let's say you've turned it in and you go, oh my gosh, I want to make some changes, and you try to click on it. It says view only right now. So that means you can't make any changes. You can only look at it. And some kids will then email me and they want access back so that they can, so you're requesting edit access. Do not do that. Just click unsubmit. Unsubmit gives you back the access, takes it from me, so that means it's no longer turned in for me to grade. Once you actually turn it in, then it's in my queue and ready for grading. But if you know you want to make some changes before I grade it, hit unsubmit. Okay? Let's say we're getting to permanent zeros and you hit turn in on everything, and then you turn it in on Connexus, and then you hit unsubmit, and then you say to me, well, I thought I turned it all in. That's not going to be a good excuse, okay? It has to be actually turned in and in my queue, ready for grading by permanent zero deadlines. Otherwise, it's not considered turned in. Some other things that you guys should know are that Google Docs, oh yeah, so it's saying access denied because I still have it submitted here. If I unsubmit, Google Docs keeps track of everything that you do, every change that you make. So sometimes I'll have kids say, well, I made all these changes and then Docs didn't save it, and that's really just not possible. So one thing that your teachers can do is we can check your log, so your version history. So this tells me that at 2:38 is the first time that I opened this assignment. That means I got my copy of it, okay? And then at 2:42, I made some changes to it. And every time, let's say you leave the doc and you go back into the doc, it's going to generate a new version history over here. And so your teachers can go in and check this. And I can say show changes, and then it's going to highlight changes that you've made. So these are just some things that I want you to be aware of that your teachers can check, and you can also check. But yeah, so we can go back, and if you click on this version, it's going to show the blank document. And then here it's going to show the changes that I made while we were walking through this assignment. Just a little FYI for you. So we're going to turn this in one last time. Once it's turned in, you can hit this back arrow. It's always going to take you back into your activity stream. And you'll notice this stream is not in order because it just, whatever the last thing that is that your teacher posted, it goes to the top of your stream. So if you're trying to navigate and find an assignment, going into your stream is maybe not the best way to do that. Okay, but you can, I organize things by topics. So let's say in Connexus that you're in Unit 2. That means that in Google Classroom, you would go to the one with 2, and these are in order. And so this shows, okay, hey, I did this, but I haven't done this, not done, not done, not done, okay? So just make sure that if you're trying to navigate, the best way to do that is to go in by topic. And then in there, I have them organized in numerical order, the way that makes sense. One more note for you. When you are doing an assignment, sometimes like, let's say that I've given you a project with lots of options, and I'm going to say just turn in one worksheet, don't turn in this whole project. you'll go open, and so you'll see here that there is something that you can view, but you're not going to get your own copy of it. And in here, it would link you. Let's say I've chosen this. It's going to link me to this, and it says make a copy. So now you've got your own copy of this document. Okay, and let's say you're done with it and you want to turn it in. So you are going to then, because you have to submit something here, you can't just say mark is, well, you could say mark is done, but if there's nothing there, I'm going to give you a 0. So in order to submit, you say add, and since I'm giving you a Google Drive doc, when you hit make a copy, it made a copy into your Google Drive, and the most recent thing that it's going to make a copy of is the Raven. So you'll say add your copy of the Raven, okay, and then you turn that in, okay. So now it's done. But anytime you click into an assignment and it doesn't automatically give you something to click on, so there's not an assignment down here for you to click and open, that means you're going to have to add your assignment, and usually doing it via Google Drive is the best way to do that, okay? And then it's going to say that it's done, so if we hit back, you'll have, oh, we're on our stream, we're not in our topic. That's why it's so confusing. So here, I've got a check mark, I'm done. You can go in, you can open it again, you can unsubmit and edit your work if you need to. That's fine. So those are some basics of your Google Classroom. If, trying to think of anything else you need right now. Once you have an assignment, and I already said this at the beginning, but I will reiterate, once you have submitted an assignment, so I have done 2.01 in the Google Classroom, I go to 2.01 into the Dropbox. I can't actually type anything because I'm not a student, but you would type submitted and hit submit. That's going to take this assignment off of your to-do list and add it to my to-do list. Again, let's say you submit a blank document to Google Classroom because you just want to get it off your list, and you submit an assignment in Connexus that says submitted. If you give me a blank document in Google Classroom, you are going to get a 0 for that assignment. So just make sure you're turning in what you want to turn in and you are meeting all of your deadlines. If you need any extra help, you can go ahead and send me an email, but make sure you're very specific with your question. Okay, good luck.